I got a brand new laptop. Let's talk about it. Hello again, welcome back to Rusty Brown Photography. I'm Rusty, so glad you guys are here. And like the thumbnail said, I got a brand new laptop. If you looked at the thumbnail, you know what it is. But let's get into a little bit of detail about all of it, right? So yes, I bought a new laptop. I do have my handy dandy Coach's clipboard here with a couple of notes to help keep me on track. I'm going to talk about today anyway, I'm going to talk about why I bought one, what I bought. Again, thumbnail probably gave it away. The specs of the machine, the other machines that I considered, and the cost, right? So let's dive right in. I bought a new laptop for two reasons. The first is that my 2020 Dell XPS 139310 is losing its battery life fast. And that is this machine here. I did a kind of like a technology refresh video 5.5, 6 years ago. I'll put a card to it here if you're interested, about when I brought this online. And basically about 11 years ago, I had an Alienware laptop, which was amazing. It's about 8 pounds. It was a heavy machine and I used it for everything, but I did a lot of video processing and photography editing on it. In 2018, that machine died. I went 2 years without a laptop. I got this one in 2020. Sort of kind of to replace the Alienware, but you really couldn't because, I mean, it's an XPS 13, so it's smaller. Virtually no ports on here, right? One Thunderbolt 4 on each side, and if you powered it up with a cord, you only got one left. So basically, you're dead in the water with this if you had to plug it in and you didn't bring your dongle. So, getting back to today, this XPS 13 today is just really bad on its battery. When I first got it, it was not uncommon to get, you know, double-digit battery life out of it. Now, to be fair, this is not an editing machine. It was more for media viewing, you know, watching stuff online, maybe doing some emails. It went to the studio a lot with me because I would have my shot sheet on there and I could use this small laptop to show a client what we're going to work with today and things like that. But now, if you run it without the battery, when you get about to the almost coming up on 2 hours, you'll get a warning. And once you see the warning, you got about 3 minutes to power it down or plug it in because it's shutting down. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that the cost of memory today is escalating, and it's really getting up there. Basically, what I've read indicates that a lot of the AI data centers today are commanding massive amounts of memory. We first saw the price increase, me and some members of my photography club, when I went to get just some routine, you know, memory cards a couple of months ago. The standard, you know, 128 SanDisk Extreme Pros had gone up significantly than they were a year ago. Didn't understand why, but we looked into it and found out that memory for consumer things is getting quite expensive now because the data centers for AI are commanding so much of it. So for me, right, I had planned on replacing the old XPS 13 this summer. I could still get by with it like I can right now, knowing that the battery life isn't what it used to be. But then once I saw what was going on with the memory and the cost of it, I decided to move my search up. In fact, and I'm gonna link a YouTube video in my show notes from a site called Just Josh. If you haven't watched Just Josh, really good channel. They do a lot of product evaluations, specifically in the laptop and PC arena. And within the last week or so, Josh actually put out a video that talked about just how expensive laptops are going to be in 2026, and it turns out it's for the same reason that I just mentioned. It's the memory. And to give you an idea of how quickly it's moving. Last year, if you bought a laptop, your memory represented about 15% of the total cost. Right now, in March of 2026, your memory represents 37% of that cost, which is more than double, and it's trending the wrong way. It's, you know, in the 37 to 50 percentile, holding at 37 right now. And the general consensus is that as we get into the year, it's going to become more and more expensive. So for me, I originally thought that I would get to Q2, maybe the end of Q2, like in June, and then go out and get the replacement for the XPS 13. But this recent news caused me to pivot a bit. And one, get a machine now, and two, make sure that it's a 2025 and not a 2026. Let's talk about the machine. It is this guy right here, which is the Asus ROG, or Republic of Gaming, Zephyrus G-16 GU605 2025. This is the platinum and white version. Let me show you a little bit from the unboxing. Check it out. So here it is. You saw the unboxing. Let's take a look inside for a second, so you can see what it looks like. This is what I mean when it's the platinum with the white keys, and it has some nice RGB lighting in the back. So let's talk about the machine a little bit. Again, Asus ROG Zephyrus G16 GU605. Again, the 2025 model. It has an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, a dedicated GPU, which is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, which also has 12 gigabytes of onboard RAM there. Uses Windows 11 Pro. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD on the internal, for the internal hard drive. A 16-inch Nebula OLED display, which is 2.5K in resolution. It is a 16 by 10 orientation, not 16 by 9, which I do like. 240 hertz refresh rate, so it's extremely fast. Dolby Vision. It's got 6 speakers, 2 of which are subwoofers, and I got to tell you, I've never heard speakers on a laptop sound so good. It is quite amazing. Like I indicated, it's called Platinum White. They do have one that's black on black as well. RGB backlit keys that you can program any which way you want to. It's a premium all metal build, all aluminum. Large glass trackpad, but it is non-haptic. It comes with HDMI port, 2 USB-As, 2 Thunderbolt USB-Cs, a full-size SD card slot, which, like I said, none of those were on my old machine. Weighs about 4.3 pounds. So the old XPS was around 2.5 to 2.6 pounds. So this is about 1.5 pounds heavier. 500 nit screen. The cost as built for me, $2,600. Battery life is 6 to 7 hours if running, at 240 hertz. If you knock that down to 120 hertz, you can get roughly 9 to 10 hours out of it. Talk real quickly about some of the other machines that I considered when I started looking into these. The first one that came up was something called the Asus ProArt 16. I did look at that, but the GPU was an RTX 5060 or less. That was number one. It's an AMD machine, which was okay. 120 hertz, vice to 240 hertz. That's on this machine. 1600 nits though is extremely bright. Now this one at 500 nits is not bad. It's not bad at all for daylight processing. It's very bright. So, but that 1600 on the ProArt is extremely bright. Now that one though has a haptic trackpad and it's also a touchscreen. So consequently, when you are outdoors, it's a little more glare because it doesn't have the coating on it, because you have to be able to do the sensitivity when you're doing touchscreen stuff. The second machine that I looked at was, sticking with the Dell, I looked at a Dell XPS 16. That one though was an Intel Core Ultra 7, which the existing one, I had a 7 in it already in the old machine. 60 hertz refresh is a little too slow for me. Windows 11 Home as opposed to Windows 11 Pro. The GPU was an RTX 4060, 1 terabyte internal SSD, no HDMI port, no USB-A, no memory card reader, and it came in at 2,500 bucks. So quite honestly, I started looking at Dell first because that's what I had, and I quickly got rid of that thought process. The last one that I looked at was a MacBook Pro 16. It started at 2,800 bucks. High efficiency, I should say, versus high performance. It's got a much longer battery life. It's got a much better resolution on the screen, but it's 120 hertz refresh rate. It does have a haptic trackpad, and it uses iOS obviously instead of Windows, so it's more integrated with the iOS ecosystem. Now I do have, behind me, I do have a Mac Pro that I do use, but I'm still not a big, user of Macs for the type of processing that I do. I don't use them too awfully much for, photography and things like that, or video processing, right? Okay, so once I got through the initial build, which took a little while, I loaded my McAfee business account first to get that going, set up the security, the VPN, things of that nature. Next, I loaded up my Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, but I only took 4 programs and brought them down to the machine level. My Lightroom Classic, my Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and Audition, because those are the 4 that I use all the time. And now that I have this machine, I can use it as an extension of what I have here at the desktop. After that, I loaded up my Microsoft 365, downloaded Teams to the machine, manually disabled the default Microsoft OneDrive. So I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but it just seems like as of late, if you buy a Windows machine, it's automatically going to attempt to back up your files to the OneDrive, but I don't want that. And it wasn't the OneDrive that I use for Rusty Brown Photography. It was just a generic one. So I had to nix that to make sure that nothing is automatically backing up there. And then I used the onboard Asus apps that came with the machine to basically further configure it to my liking, to include the color pattern that I want to use for the RGB backlit keys, so that they're not too busy, but I like the contrast. There's also, I don't have it on right now, see if it shows up. There's a line that runs across, a diagonal line that runs across the machine. It's got some pretty neat light thing going on with it. You can program that too. I don't know if this one, it's not on right now because the machine isn't powered up, but when it is, you get this line thing that's running through here, which is pretty slick, if you are so inclined. It wasn't important for me, it just came with it. Couple of things that I want to talk about real quickly. A few of the differences technically between this and the 2026 version. The 2026 has more nits, so a slightly brighter screen, which is great. It also has greater power output. So this is 130 or 139 watts. The 2026 version is 160. But like I say, the single biggest challenge with this one in the 2026 realm is going to be the memory. If you get that same machine, with 32 gig of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD, it's going to cost significantly more than $2,600. I want this new laptop to be an extension, like I said, of what I do here. So having a high performance machine is better for me. If I didn't have what I have here as a desktop, this could drive it. I could get a docking station for this, and it's got enough power to do all of that. I mean, my desktop machine is running a 5080, and this is a 57 Ti. So, and I didn't mention it, but this one has 16 cores as well. So 3 fans, I think it could handle it as the heart of a system like this. It just so happens that I also happen to have a desktop solution. So this will be, for me, an extension of that. So yeah, there you have it. This is it, the Asus ROG Zephyrus G-16. I'm going to be getting used to this over the next few months. Like I said, getting it early was a bit of a surprise, but I'm not using the sky is falling mentality with regard to memory. It's significant enough in terms of the cost. So if I didn't have to get a new laptop this year, I wouldn't be paying attention to that. But from the looks of things, the cost of memory going forward is going to keep rising for quite some time. Check it out for yourselves and see what you think. The 2025 models, by the way, were already priced. So even though, now I got this one directly from Asus, if I built the same thing at Best Buy, it was more expensive. And other manufacturers like Adorama and B&H, they were all more expensive than just going directly to Asus to get that. So I'm hopeful that as I start to use that I'll have a little bit more to report maybe later in the year. The good news is that I have it. I'm going to run it into the system and see what we got. So hey, thanks for stopping by to watch the video today. I hope you got something out of it. I hope some information that I gave you today was helpful. I do appreciate the time that it takes for you to stop and check out the video, and I'm super appreciative of that. Until next time, you guys be good. We'll talk soon. Bye now.